1, 2, 3.
All right, welcome to the podcast. This week, super excited. We're going to hit with someone that has seen Amazon, the third-party market from some of the beginnings, with Buy Box Experts, an agency that really climbed and actually eventually exited. And we'll jump straight into it. I've got Scott Oshman from the podcast. He's currently, VP at Quickfire. And already before we even hit the record button was, saying some real authentic stuff. And so I just wanted to hit the record button and be like, this is great. This is so much fun. It's fun because you're like, Amazon's boring. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I know the boring parts of Amazon. Like, you start an experiment, maybe you have to wait 2 weeks to see it play out. There's that operational boring, but then there's also, it's a simple business in a sense that like you just put your products up there and maybe you sell it. Of course, on this podcast, I've gotten a lot of people that bring up hacks or whatever, but shoot, I'm already like halfway through like your legendary rant. But Scott, welcome.
Well, Scott to Scott.
That's right.
Scott to Scott. Okay, I break into song every once in a while. I apologize for that in advance. Anyway, I told you this. It's a pleasure to meet you because I've followed your work. I've followed the brand. I've followed the product. It excites me to meet people who you have thoughtful stuff. The things that you report out are actually super interesting. They're not just hodgepodge, whatever. I love the depth. I learn a lot from you. And so it's just a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Wow.
I'm just excited to meet you and hang out. And
Thank you.
Let's cut it up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, you were saying something like, you've worked with really, large brands that were trying to take Amazon seriously. And now you're kind of doing something different. And I think the audience actually would benefit from like hearing, there's different speeds to business. And trust me, if I ever leave what I'm doing now, it's going to be a different speed. I'm not going to just, pedal to the metal. Actually, as a seller, I'm at a different speed now than when I was selling. I was, building software myself most of the time, and now I'm on podcasts. I write a lot. Thank you for your compliments, but I'd like to just jump into that. Some of the different speeds that you've worked.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go into my life story. I got into, I've been now in retail, which is just crazy. It's like I literally hit my 30th year of selling to retailers and working for manufacturers and multi-branded. I grew up as a rep, an independent rep in the Northwest, selling to 500 independent stores. Then we had department stores. We had everything. I had the greatest MBA program. I didn't have an MBA, but I had JanSport backpacks. We sold to everybody. This is before the internet and all that. No one cares.
Yeah.
The point is, I got JanSport, then I got to North Face, then I grew up in key account management, and I got the big break to go to North Face and manage REI, one of the biggest accounts at the highlight. This is 2004 when things were just going crazy.
Yeah.
I was over my skis. It was terrible. But anyway, and then I got to go work for Columbia Sportswear. Again, these are just ginormous brands. And then I get sucked into the Amazon vortex around 2005. I'm at Columbia and we start selling Amazon 1P, Vendor Central, right? We start selling Columbia Sportswear to Amazon. And I wasn't the account manager, the lead on that. But in the office, I was just like, well, that's kind of interesting. And I kind of, interesting. Then we jump forward and then I go back into the agency life. And all of a sudden in 2006, got just head and heels. And in the outdoor in space that I was in, outdoor, specialty and all those things, we started, they started courting us to go sell to them. And so that's what started that out. And
okay.
to skip ahead, everybody's bored already, is I got to work with some of the biggest brands in the world and also a ton of little tiny brands. And then I got to live through the little brands becoming ginormous brands because they were all bought. They're
Yeah.
all consolidated and bought by PE. The PE wave hit the outdoor and then apparel and footwear and all these things. So I got to go the big things. And then, yes, got an Amazon agency, merged with Buy Box Experts. James and Joe, again, they had the 3P. I had the 1P. They needed the 1P for enterprise. You know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And we built a big agency and everything, and I got to use all the fancy software, Scott. I got to use all the fancy stuff. I had $1 zillion budgets a month for advertising. Back that was Amazon Media Group, which is now all the DSPs and name the acronym. I was doing it. What was available then? We had a seat. I had Lucas Nurmi come over from I had a seat. I had a DSP seat because in 2014 he's in our office, which is like 10 minutes from the campus, and I'm going, this is really, we can do this for our brands. This is incredible. So fast forward, do that. Then I get back and I was working for Quickfire. And when I got out of that into Quickfire, as far as speeds, I came out of that very lucky, extraordinarily fortunate, got the exit thing and whatever. It was really more to James and Joe's credit. They drove all of that. Anywho, I get to Quickfire, who's a small little digital agency. We do all the stuff. We do the paid social, paid search. We do influencer.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing TikTok stuff now, whatever. And I was doing some subcontractor work for Amazon before the buy box thing for Quickfire. And I'll end it here. The whole thing of Quickfire, I just wanted to simplify the heck out of everything, Scott. I didn't want the fancy softwares. I didn't want all the different strategies and I mean, I have all that because I did all that. I just wanted to offer, just do the work. Let's offer a flat rate. I'd been through all the capitulations of, do we do rev share? Do we do percentage of spend? Do we do a flat fee? But if we get to this point, it's a tiered revenue and this and that and right? All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I came out of that and I said, you know what? No, I'm done with all of that. I don't want any of it. Here's what we do. Here's the rate. We just do the work. We fight the battles. We run your ad tech, right? We run the advertising. I have a call with you. I have an old, like, corroded spreadsheet I've been using since 2013. It runs the business. I've run bazillion dollar businesses. I've run tiny businesses. It just works. It works.
Well, you bring up a good point about like, do you need all the fancy softwares? Like, managing ads, and now, like, for the last few years, like, this is actually even pre ChatGPT, but like AI in your ads, like the optimizations. And then the flip side is like, let's just not overthink this. Let's just show up and let the brand strength, or the some of the things that it's got going for it, lead the way.
I mean, it just completely depends on where you are and what you need to do and what you're trying to do. I
Mm-hmm.
was telling you, like, I am a big fan of DSP and CT, all the different high funnel stuff that's going on. I think it's fascinating. I love it, actually. I think there's some cool stuff going on. I just didn't want to deal with it. We will deal with small brands, still in the search, still in PPC. We just pay attention. We do the work. You need some lights off. If it gets big enough and it's wide enough, you need something to kind of organize it, and it's smarter, right? It can bid smarter and it can be smarter. You need some little automation. We have a little one, but I just felt like I'm not right for everybody at this juncture either, Scott, because people come to me and I'm like, hey, I don't have fancy stuff. I'm not going to send you 17 dashboards. Yep. I'm going to call you every week. I'm going to tell you in Seller Central what you can see, right? But you hired me. This is what I look at. I look at traffic, conversion. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. We're up, we're down. Here's what we need to do. Here's what I think we should do. I'll model out budgeting for you. I'll do all the stuff. I just don't want to get caught up. The lesson was, I had my own agency for a long time, and the lesson I learned, I did everything and more. I tried to build my own software. I over delivered so much, and half the time the clients are just like, I'm like, oh, did you look at the dashboard? And they're like, no, I only looking at this call. And I'm just like, what am I spending $1 zillion in effort for?
I think in my, seller career to like now, I think I spent maybe, I've jumped on about a dozen like agency style calls. And I still cringe when I think about one agency, one call where like I pulled out an Excel sheet during lunch and like talked about like all these like different optimizations that we can make, we can do, we got this software. And I'm like, I don't think he cared. But like I was there like just like trying to do uh something extra that would give an edge.
But that's more about your audience, and I did learn that through my experience, and I think it was a learned, and I still see this all the time. You have to, even in email, whether it's on a call, you got to know what audience, because if it's a certain level, they could care. To your point, they don't care. Tell me what it means. Tell me why I should care, and tell me what we're doing about it.
Yeah,
that's all they want.
Yeah.
You get deeper than that, and eyes glaze over, and their screen, they're already, they're doing whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so much is like, yeah, like you said, like what level do you give? And I mean, I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast, like they talk with brands, and they're, either agencies themselves, sellers trying to get some brands to sell through. And it's kind of tricky, how to show expertise, but also how to like keep a high level.
Yeah. And I had that same thing. I'm like, we got to add value, we got to show our value. Perception management's a big deal, and it's true. So again, the more information and the more flooding, but it also depends on the pay, how much you're paying the agency per month, what type of the psychological feeling that you need. I'm paying all this money, I better get something. Quick fire, again, this is not for everybody. I just want to be clear. We are not for everybody. We don't charge a lot, but I tell you up front, you're not going to get a lot. What you're getting is 20 years of experience. I've done this 100 times. I've launched more brand. Like, it's just, I've done it 1,000 times, I feel like. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. At the same time, you hire me because it's a gobbledygook to a lot of people, and they don't want to deal with it. Fine. I direct you what you want to do. But I'm saying, I tell people when they get referred, I'm like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Yeah, I'm just not. I have an ad manager I hired him in 2017. He lives in Malaysia. The clients don't ever talk to him, ever. Because that was our deal. I'm the translator. If you want to have a call, whatever, you want to explain something, he'll do a video or what have you. But like, that's the simplicity of what we do. And that's what I enjoy. And I'm privileged to be able to do it.
Refreshing.
Listener, if you could just see the look on Scott's face.
It's refreshing to hear, like, I've got people that will probably come on the podcast and been the over explainer, being like, we're taking over the world. Some businesses that I've spoken to on the pod, like they kind of are, they're doing, like they're hitting, their strides.
Yeah.
And that's not you.
No, I think there's a place for everybody. There's a place. And I'm 56 years old. I've done this for, I just am like, I just want to simplify it for me and for what we're doing. But we don't take on big brands that want to grow. That's not my cup of tea at this point. And that's not what we grow you. We do the fundamentals. We play with the new toys. There's a lot of stuff in the ad tech right now on Amazon that's actually super interesting, that we're having a lot of success with. That is awesome. I still get a kick out of that.
Yeah. No,
so it's finding the right fit, right? Finding your people, who's your ICP, who's your ideal client profile, all that kind of stuff. We're a niche. You know what I mean? You've met me for 20 minutes. I mean, I'm a lot, Scott. Hey, I mean, my poor wife for 32 years, but I mean, I just don't, I don't have to try to couch things. I'm ultra blunt in a polite, nice, kind way, because I'm just tired of, I'm not going to put up with the crap. I'm just not. You know what I mean? I'm tired. Is this just horrible? People are like, who is this guy? He's a train wreck. Why would anybody want to work with him?
I do you know already like I mean honesty just goes so far. Like transparency, especially. I spoke with a guy that he works with our agency. Well, like my brother's agency today. I basically almost talked him. I kind of talked him out of it. It's like, hey, sounds like you need these other solutions, um, and he's talking accelerators or 1P or this, and my favorite thing about that conversation was like I was just telling him like what I saw is like the truth and not like steering it. And it goes a long way.
Yeah, and the other thing is, people are like, well, can you, there's a lot of, I just never tried to be like this unless I was forced to. It's just like, I don't know what's going to happen on Amazon, especially today. I mean, the last, since COVID, the saturation, right? We can get into the nitty gritty. I just talk about this on our show all the time. Like, because the phone, where's my phone? I don't even know where my phone is. The phone has captivated, right? We understand the amount of traffic that goes, the discovery, sir, everything is happening right on mobile on Amazon. Am
Yeah.
I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, think about it, man. It's just real estate. There's only so much real estate available.
Oh,
If you
it's
who's thumbing down to an Amazon like an A+ page on their flipping phone unless I'm buying a $4,000 grill? What are we doing?
I think on what is Amazon doing? I've got a thing to say about that. Their mobile page experience, where like there's like your top stuff, and then this whole like weird stuff in the middle, and then A+ content. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a shopper first experience.
So we understand that there's just a massive mobile traffic, right? But the mobile is cut down our real estate dramatically to desktop. It's just dramatically. And I love that we can see our sessions and all this other stuff. So to me, this is just a real estate game. It's no difference. It's everybody wants, again, for a lot of people, they want the house in Malibu overlooking the ocean. That's the top page on the flipping mobile app. Like there's only so much space. And now you got 8 trillion people competing for this tiny little space. That's Amazon. So I think it's just gotten harder and harder. And I was leading to, my point is, people go, well, hey, we're doing this. How much do you think you can get to? I go, I don't know. They're like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I don't know. And anybody who tells you exactly that they can do that, I don't really think they do either. Really, because this thing, there's so many variables out of our control, depending on the category, depending on the history, depending on the brand, depending on 7 other variables. They're like, what do you mean? We had this other agency and they told you could do this. I'm like, great, then go with them. I don't care. I'm telling you because I've done this so much, especially when we're launching. Well, when do we get to 50,000? When do we get to? I go, I don't know. And I'm just dead straight. I don't know. How can you not know? You're the expert. Because I am the expert. I've done this so much. I cannot guarantee anything, and I will never guarantee you. And I have no idea. I can start building you out with little milestones, little happy, tiny victories. That's how I do it. And if that's not what you need, then I'm not your guy.
Well, because until you have the offer, like you don't know the conversion rate. There's so many, like you said, so many variables.
Yeah, we
And
just can't. I can't control them all. I can use your tool. I can use a bunch of tools to get a guide of what the traffic is, what the penetration is, what my competitive set is. I can even look. We can shop and look pretty much and go, who's spending some money, and your tool has the coolest thing about that actually, about guidance on spend is really awesome. That's amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
So I can get some directional, but I can't come in. I mean, I had a guy, we launched his water bottles. Dude, like water bottles? Are you kidding me? Well, we're the number 1 water bottle in Australia. Fantastic. What's your brand penetration and awareness in the US? Well, we're just starting. Well, great. Then I can't tell you when we're going to get to where we're going to get. I just can't. I mean, I'm not going to. Because you're going to be disappointed and then there'll be sadness. You'll fire me anyway, so who cares?
No, I've heard this phrase and I think about it about every month. Like Amazon business, once you've got a little bit of experience, it's simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's
No.
like, there's only a few steps, but like, can you guarantee, certain results? Absolutely not. You know, can you grow an entire category? Probably not. Um, can you steal a few points of market share? Maybe.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think there's opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like I mean, God, if I'm listening to myself, I'm like, this guy's depressing as heck. Man. My God, how does he stay in? How does anybody work with him? Jeez, there's still tremendous opportunity. And if you're crafty and you're doing all the little fundamentals and you're kind of just watching the store and you're paying attention, and you don't have to have $1 million in ad spend, but if you spend it smartly and you do all the little things, you can increment it. You can just tiny little victories. You can make your way, and it can be a great business. It can be a great business. And you watch the unit economics and you understand how the inventory flows and all the other crazy stuff that we're dealing with on margin compression, then you can have a nice business. It's still the number. It's growing at twice the rate. It's still where you have to be.
um, something that's like very interesting about small brands that you mentioned, and I have on my mind is, um, you know, I guess how is it to like win as a small brand if maybe you're like priced a little bit higher, just like a little bit higher, because um, I don't think you're not exclusively in like these like consumable categories. There's some
No.
physical products, and usually those right now, they get kind of price competitive.
Yeah.
Um, what is it like? What does it mean? Can you win when you're like, I don't know, $3 or $4 more than like the bare bones?
You can, through all the wonderful best practices of a lot of people that's been on your show, that a lot of people that you and I could probably play, who we know in the space that do, is it comes down to branding. It comes down to messaging. It's still an item driven business in some regard. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know how you feel about this. God, what is going on outside of Amazon is having more and more of an impact on Amazon.
I know.
And so we
And
have to
maybe it
be,
was always, part of me is wondering, like, was that always the case? We were just like kind of like blind to it, or um, is this kind of like a new?
well,
Uh,
when you my early experience was that when you work with major big brands, that they're kind of the market leader in a category and they have massive distribution. What happens is the CFO and the CMO, really the CFO, will come to you and say, "What if we just didn't spend on our branded terms? Like everybody knows us, and we're just basically everybody's just going to buy it there anyway, you know." And I think that's where you run into this, where you see, all boats. What I always screw this saying up. If you get a pop on TikTok, if you get a pop on a promotion on a PR hit, your Amazon business goes up.
well, it's like maybe a brand opens up a new retail channel.
Yes.
People are like, well, here's this. Like, I don't feel like taking this home today. Um, and so they just buy it on Amazon, like right there in the store.
But I contend, and you can please feel free to disagree. I tell everybody, and there's a lot of people out there and a lot of brands hear stuff about the A10 algorithm and how Amazon's algorithm works and everything. And I'm just like, hey, I'm just telling you from my perspective. This is just my opinion. I've been sitting on the sideline for 20 flipping years working at this thing. It is not different than it was originally. It is 20% conversion, 20% sales in the last 180 days. And the only meter on the pie, on the wheel that's changed is external traffic. And yes, ad set is I just don't believe there's a Wizard of Oz back there. I think minor, really micro tweaks. Amazon is doing certain things to force the algorithm, but I just think it's the billions of sellers and
Well,
billers of things that are natural. It's a liquid form and thing.
have you ever? There's this meme called the dimwit meme. You
Okay.
familiar with this?
No.
So it shows like IQ on a curve. So like it's high in the middle, and then like there's the extremes. There's the dimwit, and then there's the genius.
Okay.
And like the dimwit and the genius are actually saying the same thing. They're saying the just put it up there, and do like one or two things, put a good offer out there.
Yeah.
And then in the middle IQ thing is just to be like, okay, I'm going to use this new AI tool. I'm going to use like, five, like my tech stack is just going to be so big. And then I'm going to get my A plus content and I'm going to A/B test it 30 times over. And when like, I think like you're given this vibe of like, don't overthink some of these things. Yeah. Like go back to like the basics and like the algorithm. Don't feel like you're going to game the algorithm in a way that like no one hasn't tried 1,000 times. Just show up, and that is actually the high IQ thing.
Yeah, no, I like what you think. Appreciate that. I went to Arizona State, so any type of IQ higher than the dimwit is a pretty big compliment.
But also the dumb people that just think simple. Yes. They get it right.
No, and I sound like such a negative Nelly of the fact that
it's fine.
I'm not against A+ pages. I'm all for them. I'm not against Amazon stores. I'm a big proponent of them. But they're one tool and you have to utilize them in different ways. The algorithm, yes, it likes all of that stuff. There's table stakes to all of these things. But I just believe, yes. And what we saw from my perspective is, the massive Chinese sellers, there's over 50% of the sellers, right? We could compete with them because they weren't really good at product detail page. They weren't good at understanding the ad tech and understanding driving traffic. And then they started to get really good at that. And then what they were extraordinary at is they figured out how to send all this traffic that they cultivated on Meta traditionally into almost a middle, like a pre-qualified buyer. So it's a highly potential converting traffic person, and they drive them right into the product detail page. Their conversion rate would go through the roof. And then all of a sudden we're sitting there going, I'm spending $1 zillion a month. And all of a sudden, organically, I go look at my brand and here's this Chinese seller. Yeah. What are we doing? And that's the world we live in. That's the competitive set that is the true reality.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's there's definitely like more sophistication on those ends.
Yeah. So I said it's boring, but it's really not boring.
No, it's not.
There's a lot going on. The advertising is fascinating.
It's anything but like when you've seen these conversations play out 100 times,
yeah,
there's got to be like a counter, like, a push and pull to what everyone is like, if everyone's thinking like one direction, like, hey, we got to like pull that back a little bit.
Yeah. Can I tell you just one last thing? I know we're up, what our time is, but the one thing that is one of the more exciting things that is happening right now on Amazon from a vendor side, but mostly third party side, Amazon Business. Amazon Business. You know what I'm talking about here?
Oh, here's what I do know. Never had I heard people talk about Amazon Business until this year. And then we have like large brands, like that's all they want to like learn about and talk about.
This has been a sleeping giant for years and years and years. And I've, again, used to have an office near the campus. I was on campus all the time for 1P and then 3P, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. The whole point is I'm like, hey, Amazon Business kids, if you guys figure out how to parse out your advertising and your marketing to just Amazon Business consumers, right? Users, new ball game, like new ball game, because everybody's like, hey, why don't you do this? I'm like, there's no difference. I don't want to do your bulk discount thing. I'm not into that. It's not appropriate for me for this particular brand. That doesn't do nothing for me. Oh, we do all this Amazon. I go, it doesn't matter. I don't, a bunch of Amazon.com buyers, we know our businesses, but now they finally just figured out the sauce where you can actually advertise and market to just only, there's a wall in between .com and Amazon Business, so we can actually target, build audiences, and market directly to Amazon Business. And that's about as excited about anything I am right now.
Really, I believe it. Like there's some people. So like we do, brand market data, and there's people that really want to know about Amazon Business. And I'm meeting with Amazon Business in 2 weeks. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know, like they don't, usually Amazon doesn't move fast. So I have low expectations. But it's definitely got my attention.
They do billions of dollars that nobody even talks about.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to, the whole two-step distribution model, which is in office and paper and industrial and commercial industries, that they're collapsing the funnel just like they did the consumer, right? The manufacturer and the consumer, they've collapsed the funnel. They put a window up and go, oh yeah, here's your price. That's what the internet did. And that's what Amazon price matching and everything else. So I think there's even more and more opportunity in Amazon business because more big businesses and enterprise are just like, why would I do this? They're convenient. They ship fast. I got it. I know it's a competitive price. I'm in.
Yeah. And yeah, it helps them like with some like other business requirements, you know, like there's little things that, I mean, if you include government, they even have more like red tape in how they actually can purchase things. And Amazon's business is kind of tailored for that. Well, you're the first person that's ever come in and just said like, hey guys, just listen, pay attention, Amazon business.
Well, there you go. That
So
could be a good thing or a bad thing.
no,
But
no. I think it's good. Like it's very, because like I said, like I'm hearing from people that it's cool. So I'm actually glad you brought it up. Well, I mean, I think this was, thanks for coming in and sharing, perspective and from seeing both the big and the small, and you know, uh, super helpful to like not overthink things. I think we all kind of need to hear that every once in a while. But Scott, you have your own podcast.
yes, always off brand. We've been around for about 4.5 years. It's a weekly show. It's a very different show. It's like an old radio bit show where we do have experts on. And again, we'll have to reciprocate and get you on. And but we do a game show in the middle of it. We have a news. We have sound effects. I put in little clips. I mean, we try to, it's a laugh and learn is the goal, right? We want it a fun listen to, have a lot of fun, and try to get some jokes in there, make people chuckle. And then also you're like, wow, I actually learned something. That's crazy. So it's a great time.
That's awesome. Well, so check it out if anyone's listening. And thanks, Scott, for giving some of your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, we'll wrap up there. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
1, 2, 3.